up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out here with me. It's Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. It is, March 28th, 2025. This is part of the Quick Market Update series on my YouTube, Cheds Trading. I do these Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes I skip. Most of the time you can catch me here. I want this to be a conversation. I want this to be a place where you can come and ask me questions. So get your questions ready. Let me know how you found the channel, how you're feeling, something you want to know about trading, and we'll go from there. I do these 3 days a week, these quick updates. I do the full market analysis at Bitcoin Live every Wednesday, Sunday night. I've been doing that for 7 years. You may not have heard, but I published a new book, The Trading Journal. It's out. I love it. I'm super proud of it. Some of you may already have it. You can chime in the chat room if you already have it. And essentially, this book tells you why you should use a trading journal, right? What goes in a trading journal, the thesis, the stop loss, the profit plan, thinking about your emotions, the end result, lessons learned, emotional management, good trader habits. It's this trading wisdom part 2. I'm super proud of this book. You folks should check it out. And just because I've got a new book out, my last book, I'm making it free, The Trading Quotes. I put out a new video recently. I did weeks 5 and 6. I'm going to make that whole book free. So first 3 books are free. 4th book is out. Of course, Big Cheds from Twitter. So what's up, everybody? Of course, we'll do Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, all that good stuff. And we'll kind of go from there. I got a couple tweets maybe to look at. So what do we think about Bitcoin? Well, it's still kind of figuring things out after breaking down and losing the daily range, roughly 90K bottom of the daily range. And we had the recent breakdown at 94.5, which is what the price needs to recapture. The bounce with the strategic reserve news, chopping around here with the daily MA200. daily MA200. I've been following around the price versus the falling 4H MA200, simple 200 moving average. And we have this series of rising lows, this rising channel with rising lows. So bulls if bulls are going to mount any kind of defense, it needs to happen right around here. We're kind of heading back to a level you'd like to see bulls hold if they're gonna do anything. And I've been saying for a while, I still think the price is headed to like 72K, and I've said that since we initially broke down. But we'll wait and see, and it may not happen. That's my base case until proven otherwise. So we're just seeing some consolidation, and the lower time frame's weaker, right? The 4 hours weaker than the daily. The daily is weaker than the weekly chart, which is pretty good. Still pretty good weekly chart, price above the rising MA50, but which trends within trends within trends. We're seeing that 4H weakness, and bulls really want to hold here to stair step. We shall see. We shall see. Of course, Ethereum, super weak. Doing really well off that short setup I've been talking about here, Bitcoin Live, Twitter, everywhere. Short on the underside of 2100. I gave you guys a short at 3400 on Ethereum, right essentially on this day. And another really super clean and easy short on the underside of lost support, circa, the high time frame level, 2150. I mean, just super, super easy. So follow through on that. Look at that, even potentially rolling over here in the 200 weekly, which would be a really bad sign for Ethereum. Continued weakness versus Bitcoin. I continue to scoff. I scoff at people who call bottom in this chart when there is no bottom. And Solana, you'd really want to see it hold to 120. Last ditch support. I've been eyeing this for a short. If it could get a little higher, 180. Initial rejection on descending supply trend. Failure to hold at 215, 185, 160, and now at last ditch 120 level. So that is the deal. Let me just check out the chat room, see how everybody is doing. Gilbert had an interesting question. Said Gilbert first of all says the video is pixelated. Just hit refresh or give it a second. It takes YouTube a minute to load up. Gilbert, you asked something about Steve Nissen's book, and there's nothing in the book about forgetting locals. What does that mean? Can you tell me what that means, forgetting locals? Was that like a culture reference, or was that a chart reference? I want to answer your questions, folks. So, fire them away. This is your opportunity. As we're looking here on the 4 hour, price pushing the lower Bollinger Band. It really needs to stair step here, or we're headed to certainly 78K, and I think it would probably break. And I still think my base case is it's needed to retest 72K, given the importance of you know, the 90K base. We're still seeing momentum follow through from that. Let's see what is going on here. So what's up, Bilal? Nice to see you. Muhammad, Indy, Dan, Pulse Godfather says, is it the top in? Why? The top or a top? I mean, it's clearly a local top. And I basically said, I gave you guys the shields up call when we lost 90K. So that was way back here. When we lost 90K, you know, back in February 25th. And I put out a YouTube video. I put out a video here on my YouTube. If we go to live, you can find the video where it says like losing 90K, what it means. And so it's in here. I put originally I was just doing like a standard name, and I think I put like a special name on that video, which would have been 3 months ago. So it's about 1 month ago. So it should say something like, let's see if there's what just happened. Says by the Bitcoin. Here we go. Bitcoin loses 90K. What does it mean? So go watch this video just over a month ago, and this explains what the significance of losing 90K. And this was essentially as it was losing it on that day. So if you want to know if the top is in, yeah, we don't know if the top, certainly a local top, but I kind of explained on that day what it meant to be losing 90K, and everything since then has been in light of that breakdown and reflecting of that momentum loss. So, sup, Dan says, nice to be around. How you doing? Muhammad, what is up? So, let's see some questions. You're welcome. Kurt says, thanks for the wisdom and insight. Hey, appreciate you folks. I love just hanging out with you. I can hit a couple buttons, go live, and people come and listen to me ramble, which is fun. But I love interacting with you, your comments, your feedback. Dan says, what about OM? Mantra, take a look around. Yeah, it's in a pretty well-defined trading range. It is still an uptrend. How do we know it's an uptrend? It's priced above a rising MA200. Here on the daily chart, it has local support. You really want to see it hold right around, 620 or so, and it's pushing right back towards that. You have a nice overhead level at 7. This is one of the better looking charts, given the state of the market. Mantra looks pretty good. The greatest crash of our lifetimes is coming on Trump's Liberation Day. I don't know what that means. Oh, is that the tariff thing? I don't know. I'm not really a fundamental analyst, so I don't know what will happen, what will matter. We just want to be ready. And, the chart's been pretty clear that losing 90K was significant. We've had kind of a chop range here on the 4 hour. It's flirting with a rollover and continuation. And again, trend within trend within trend. The weaker 4 hour weaker than the daily weaker than the weekly chart. Let's see. What's up? Cheds says AD. So Chris Stella, significance of Bitcoin holding above the weekly MA50, very significant. Incredibly significant. It's a great question. So, for example, let's look at what happened most recently with Solana. You can see we lost the weekly MA50. It started to roll over and had held. That was something we've been watching. If you want to go back, you can watch my YouTube, my Twitter, my Bitcoin Live from 2021. What's nice is I have like 6-7 years of a public track record. You can kind of go see how I've covered these major moments. And I had talked here about the significance of starting to lose the weekly MA50 and what that meant for Bitcoin. And so that was all the way back in December of 2021. And so we can see what happened when we started to lose the 50. We don't want to see that here on Bitcoin. We're well above it. We could maybe, what would be ideal would be maybe a wick, just kind of a quick wick down and a hold and a close back up above the 50. So we kind of like a lower shadow, longer than this, like a lower shadow, tag the upper range, recapture, and continue higher. That would be the best case for Bitcoin. If we drop back into the prior range high and fall but then into the range, we'd be trading below the 50, and I'd really be concerned that we're now doing a more sustained falling channel. We're already in a falling channel here on the weekly amidst an uptrend, but it's the beginning of a potential rollover that we've already seen on lower time frames, right? Struggling to hold the MA200 in the daily, trading below, the MA200 in the 4 hour. Any opinion on fart coin? I don't think there's enough chart history to do TA in this one. I mean, some people do it, but is it fart coin? Let's see. Which one of these will give me some price history? Yeah, you can't really do, there's not too much TA you can do in something like this. Not a ton of history. From what you see, it's a bad chart. My opinion is avoid it. I have some people talking about I bought it. Whatever. I mean, I don't see what's appealing about this. Not a ton of history. It's not a great chart. 20 cents kind of has to hold. Bounce here. It's just a bounce, it's a short setup, if anything. Bounce into, into lost support. So people going long in this. I don't know what you're looking at. I don't like it. So, and are there times when it's hard to trade in technicals, says Jay. For example, it's always hard to trade in technicals because we tend to see what we want to see. We tend to read into the chart. We tend to anticipate things. We as humans, as individuals, right? Not AI, not bots, but people, humans with emotions. It feels like the market is very correlated to equities. It often is, and it's become more and so correlated over the years. But still, he asked me if Jay asked me, do I take this into account? Not really. I still trade in the four corners of the chart, what's in front of me. I'm trading H-bar. I'm seeing if it holds 18 cents. I'm trading TRX. I'm seeing if it holds 22.5. If I'm trading XRP, I'm seeing if it holds the $2 range. And because at the end of the day, when you're going to risk your money, when you're hitting some buttons in the computer or your tablet or whatever, it's based on what's in front of you. It's based on the chart, and it's based on price in relationship to, a certain price level, support or resistance. And you have to be disciplined in that way. So you have to find a way to single out the noise. And of course, the TA doesn't predict the price movement, but what it does is it allows you to conceptualize volatility. It allows you to put it into a place where you understand what it means when price is testing support, when it's testing resistance, and you get a lot of little clues from it. Of course, you can watch the Masterclass tutorial playlist. Highly recommend this. I'll record another one later this year. I've got a bunch of projects I'm working on. First, I'm going on vacation soon. So I will not be doing YouTube for a few weeks as I'll be traveling, but I will be doing Bitcoin Live. You can always catch me there. When I come back, I need to record the audio book for the Trading Journal, and then I'll work on the Masterclass. But you should watch the Masterclass video to just get the sense of how to use TA, classical chart. I teach professional TA, and I teach it for free, candlestick theory and classical charting. I have fun with that. You don't buy any fart coin because the technicals. You buy because it's providential. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I mean, that's an interesting opinion. Let's see. Cliff says, Big Cheds, I feel like we're bearish for the summer at least. And then we top. I think the top was when Trump came out with his coin. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. I understand that. It certainly and definitely looks like local top in Bitcoin. It doesn't mean top or cycle top. We can, a very nice thing to do would be to quick wick to 72K. And I've been saying this for a while in various tweets about like the best case for bulls would be a quick drop. And we've been slow bleeding towards that level. I would have loved to have seen a quick drop. Hopefully it comes, because when you get a quick drop, you get a market overreaction that allows for momentum to snap back and ideally continue with the trend. We've got this, very clear descending supply trend here in Bitcoin that needs to break. And we have overhead level that needs to be recaptured. So it's got some work to do for sure. And rather than slowly bleeding to this level and likely rolling through, we'd like to see a quick drop. And that would be, best case for bulls, in my opinion. Folks, give me your questions. We've still got another 10 or 15 minutes here. I'll go on as long as there's questions. There isn't a ton, honestly, to update on the chart because I've been live streaming here 3 days a week, Bitcoin Live twice a week. I've been tweeting about it. It's still the same technical picture. So I'd love to maybe answer just your questions about trading, about this and that, so we can create some value. Ryan says, Cheds, shield up. I gave you folks shields up call back in end of February when we started losing 90K. You should be risking off since then and understanding the price is likely to go to 72K. Let's see. What on the daily, says Gilbert. Hey, Gilbert, what was your question about Nissan and local? Gilbert, can you tell me what that was about? Gilbert says on the daily, there were 4 bullish engulfing candlesticks since March 11th. Bullish or still need to wait? Well, bullish engulfing, there's a lot of stuff to take into account. What is a bullish engulfing? So, okay, a bullish engulfing is a Japanese candlestick signal where you have the real candle body, and let's say this is the body, and let's say you have a wick, and I'm not an artist like Bold or whatever, but let's say the following candle has a body here and the wick like that. So look, The wicks don't engulf, but the body does. So this is a bullish engulfing where the body engulfs it. It's not quite an outside bar, because if you'll note, outside bar be east western TA. If you note the lower shadow, right? It's not a complete. So outside bar, it basically means when the entire candle's range eclipses it, right? Engulfing is the candle body. Now you want to consider a lot of things. Like within sideways, candle body engulfing doesn't mean anything. So if I have, like, say, an uptrend, and then I get a big bearish engulfing, that's a momentum reversal. So you want to see that. Then you want to see volume on it too. So you want to see, like, and you want to see the body size matters too. Like, you don't want to have, like, here's the body and it's engulfing, it's slightly bigger. You'd like to have it at least 50% larger candle body size. That's 0.2. So position and channel, body size, volume behind it is incredibly important as well. You want it to be representing a turnaround in momentum. So the signal, and I teach this all on the Masterclass tutorial, you have to understand the context of signals. So people put out a lot of stuff. It's an engulfing, it's a that. They don't understand the context behind it. And if you're going to use Japanese candlestick theory, you want to have big time volume. So where are the bullish engulfings you're talking about? I don't really see any kind of a bullish engulfing here. You said 4 in a row. Where? I don't know what you're referring to, Gilbert. Gilbert says there were 4 bullish engulfings since March 11th. Were there? This isn't a bullish engulfing. This doesn't count really. It's basically the same body size. You could say this one, but it didn't really mean much because it was just continuing within a rising channel. Like, there was no real bullish engulfing signal. And this here, this is within sideways. This is within sideways channel. There was nothing. If there was like a bullish engulfing worth tweeting about, I would have tweeted it. There was no bullish engulfing signal. Again, you want, like, downtrend, big bullish engulfing, big volume here. Little volume, little volume, big volume, right? That's something you would pay attention to. There's nothing in here that's like a bullish engulfing signal that means anything. And so there's nothing there, brother. Let's see here. Weekly Bitcoin stochastic RSI cross. Don't use stochastics. It's a bounded oscillator. I don't even use stochastic. Bitcoin weekly stochastic RSI cross squandered here. What do you mean pulse? Like, what is it? Like a bullish or a bearish cross? I mean, what are you referring to? And stochastic's so weak. What does it do for you? I don't even use oscillators. You can see, like, you can literally see the RSI in the price. You can see the OBV in the price. I don't even use them. So, Nakamura Okane, when you have a long wick down, is there chances the wick will be filled later? It just depends on the momentum. Not all wicks get filled, but, it's one of those things like in Japanese candlestick theory where the best entries often come on a retest of a reversal candle's low. This isn't quite a reversal candle. It's a indecision candle, the high wave spinning top, but you had a spring here. So you can call it a reversal candle, long lower shadow candle. And so you had here a test of the lower to middle part of the shadow. You don't necessarily get all the way down, but you would watch for that. Wicks here, this wick was filled. We went lower. I'm probably going to roll lower. It really just depends on momentum. It's one of those things where people come up with these truisms. Gaps always fill or wicks always fill. It's just situational. You have to look at the context of the individual price movement, okay? Okay, so Gilbert says locals, at times there'll be scouting parties, and sempre big traders, commercial accounts, or even lows that test to resolve. I don't know what any of that means. And I've read Nissen. I've read 2 of Nissen's books, and I've been teaching, candlestick theory now for almost 10 years on Twitter. Let's continue on. Thank you, Satoshi. Do you use Fibonacci in your chart? No, I do not. Fibonacci's are fine if you want to use for a price projection. They work well with like Elliott wave theory, which I do not use. I don't necessarily need fibs. I can visually see 50% of the move, 2/3 of the move, 1/3 of the move. Fibonacci's I do not use, but I think they're fine. I think they're one of those things where even though I don't use, and I would say to my students, if you want to use it, go for it. I think it's reasonable. I think it's better than RSI. It's better than adding like stochastics or something like that. If you're going to use an indicator, Fibonacci's fine to get a visual sense of price structure. But like you don't even need to do a measured move, for example. You can just see the height of the move. You can see height of the consolidation. You continue it down. You can generally estimate most of these things just by looking at price structure. And most of the time, what you need is just in front of you with the price. So that was a great question. Great questions, everybody. Just to remind you, my new book is out, The Trading Journal. Hopefully you've seen it by now. If you've already read it, let me know in the chat. Make sure to fill out a review. I'm waiting for some more reviews. Got a nice review so far. I think that was Indy. Thank you, bud. This teaches you why you should use a trading journal, how to fill it out, good trader habits, emotional management, trading wisdom part 2. Since I have a new book, I'm making my other book free, my third book free. The first 2 books already have free versions on my YouTube. Make sure you check out The Trading Journal. Super, super proud of that book. Let's get some more questions before we wrap it up. Somebody asked me to look at GameStop. Sure, we'll do a couple of requests here. Let's take a look at GameStop. It's funny to see their price drop on the Bitcoin announcement. So there's immediately the one thing you see in the daily chart here is the lack of trend. What I mean by that is just this blue line. It's just a kind of sideways MA200. There's pretty flat. There's flat price action. Not a ton going on, okay? Maybe go to the weekly to get a better sense of the trend. The weekly trend is flat. So there's not much of a trend here. So from a trading standpoint, there's not a lot you can necessarily do. We had some volatility. We can zoom in. We have here what's called an island top, gap up, gap down. This is an island. Not great. Not great. That's a momentum overextension. It reversed and gave back the move, and we're pushing back towards lows here. You have, a reasonable level to define your risk if you're looking to go long with this recent low, but I would not be holding below 21. Overall, I don't really like the chart. I certainly don't hate it. It's still basing. It certainly has evidence of demand in the low 20s. You like to see that hold, but this is not a great momentum move, where you had not only the island, you had the up thrust with it as well. So that's not great for momentum. Tom says, love you, brother. Your book just arrived. Can't wait to dig into it. Hey, you've read all the books. Thanks. Let me know the review, Tom. Make sure you fill the review. I'm super proud of my books. So I love writing books. My next book, by the way, is a poker player's guide to trading. A trading and poker player crossover. So Gilbert says, I'm learning a lot here. Thank you. Me too. When do you use OBV? So here's the deal with oscillators, right? Here I have 2 of them, right? I have a momentum indicator, OBV and RSI. Now, one of these is banded and one's not. And bounded or banded are interchangeable terms. It's the RSI's get a fixed limit, and OBV is an index oscillator. It just adds up the buy and sell volume in the red versus green. And it's like the accumulation distribution index if you used it. So I only ever look at these when I'm not sure. You should never, ever, ever, never use these things. Stochastic, MACD, RSI, DI plus, DI minus, chalk and money flow, Williams R, whatever. Never use those to generate a trade idea. You should only ever use oscillators when you're unsure to confirm a trade idea. All trading ideas come from the price and price interaction with key levels, right? With the price doing something. So when I use OBV is when I'm really not sure. But honestly, and this has started in the last year, I've continued to practice. I don't even need to look at the OBV. You can see it in the price. You can see a little bit of local distribution. You just look at the volume on the receipt starting to fall. You can look at the volume in the red versus green candles. So you can actually see the OBV in the price in terms of the, the OHLC, open, high, low, close, the candles, and the volume. So you can use OBV if you're not sure, but you shouldn't just be scrolling around and using OBV to look for trades or using RSI. Most people use RSI wrong, right? RSI, people draw divergences. It works better for hidden divergence than regular. I could go off in this for a while. You can just watch the Masterclass tutorials. So oscillators should be used to confirm a trading idea, not to generate one, okay? And really, you don't need them because you can just see it in the price. Someone says, Nakamura says, I haven't started trading yet as I don't feel I have the knowledge enough. That's good. Yeah, wait until you're ready. And when you start trading, have very small positions. And you have to use a trading journal. Can you imagine losing money in a trade and not getting back some value from the lesson? Can you imagine losing money and not getting back a little bit from every, what happened? Every failed trade, there's value there. You can learn what happened, for the future, you have to journal every trade. How I was feeling when I entered the trade, how I was feeling when I exited the trade, what my trading idea was, how it played out, and what I would do next time. So that's critically important. So when you start trading, make sure you're risking money, but small positions. You have to have some skin in the game, small positions. And then you make sure you're writing down what you learned and how it all played out. All right, let's see. And so Indy says, how can the price drop if the OPV stays relatively undropped? Because there hasn't been much of a volume on the red candles, and you don't need it because the price is trending down. It's a big misconception. The price is already trending down, so you don't need volume to continue in the direction of the trend, right? It's a lot of the times when the price is rising and it's consolidating, and it's a bullish trend, and people say, oh, there's no volume, and he'll be like a trend of volume. We'll talk about that in a second. On the daily for Bitcoin, you don't need volume to continue with the trend. You already have an imbalance in supply and demand, okay? The daily chart has a pronounced or very easily visible trend of volume. We're watching to see this volume trend break one way or another. Likely we're going to see volatility when that happens. It probably will spike red as the price breaks down is my guess. Just because that's the trend right now, the local trend. And we're talking about the local trend. Here we have the 4-hour. We talked about that ad nauseum, which means over and over again. Any last attempt to stair stop needs to hold here 84K. Your series of higher lows, we'll see if those get violated, but that's within the falling SMA 200 environment. All right, folks, this is a great chat room, folks. I'm going to do another live stream tomorrow afternoon at some point. Remember, I'm doing Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. Tuesday and Friday right in the morning, right around 10 Eastern. Saturday later in the afternoon. I usually go work out on Saturdays. In the early mornings, I got to sweat out that wine. I like to drink my wine on Friday nights. So this is part of quick market updates. Make sure you've watched my free stuff, free versions of my first 3 books. I just published a new video on trading quotes. Trading Journal is available on Amazon, Kindle hardcover, paperback. Awesome book. Buy the book, fill out a review, honest review. Like it, don't like it. Honest review is what I'm asking for. Just let me know. Check that out. Of course, free market updates, quick market updates, Bitcoin Live twice a week, every Wednesday, Sunday. Even when I'm on vacation, I do these reports. I do a vacation coming up, so let's see. Starting in a few weeks, I'll be gone from YouTube because I'm traveling. But when I come back, I'll be back in May. So pretty much for the second half of April, I will not be here on YouTube because I'm traveling. So you'll have to catch me in Bitcoin Live. I'll still tweet, from the road, while I'm driving around or checking out zoos and museums and stuff. I'll still be tweeting, looking at the chart because I want to stay on top of stuff. So you can catch me, ask me questions there on Twitter, Bitcoin Live, all that good stuff. So thank you for hanging out, folks. It's nice to know that you're still here. I hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody had a good week. You're taking care of yourself. You're exercising. You're sleeping well. And you're having a little bit of fun. Make sure to have some fun. So I'm going to finish up here. I'm going to go outside, get some sun, get some vitamin D, and we'll go from there. So, folks, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. And I will talk to you soon. Big Cheds out. Peace out, everybody. Please subscribe. Thank you.